Hey everyone, Brandon with Flyin Miata back for another FM Live. Now, today we're going to be talking about updates we've made to our reroute kits, specifically custom formed hoses. Now, as always, you have questions, drop them in the comments. We'll try to get to them live. If not, we will get to them after the fact. So, first, what is a reroute and why do you want one? I'm not going to go real deep here. We've got a bunch of videos. Definitely check them out on our channel where we go really deep into the design of this and why you want to reroute and all that fun stuff. The really short version is that for stock, in a stock configuration, the water comes into the front of the engine and goes right back out the front of the engine, so you don't get much flow to the back of the engine. The reroute solves that problem. Our reroute in particular has extra fittings and some fanciness in here that, again, I'll refer you to the other videos, but basically makes it extra good for turbo cars because it returns the turbo water to the radiator where it can get cooled off rather than returning it to the engine where it's hot, where it just increases the coolant temp overall. So again, real brief overview on the kit. This is the kit. This is the main piece, the reroute body, single piece, thermostat clips in, good flow, flexibility here with mounting turbo or plumbing turbo water and all that fun stuff. As always, it's complete. Comes with a custom cut reroute, or excuse me, gasket for the front. It comes with both the block off plate if you want to remove the thermostat neck altogether, as well as if you want to make life a little bit easier and leave it intact. Thermostat with that. And again, it's complete. Comes with a little gasket for you 1/6 folk with the fan temp sensor. This won't be good on your car, so we include a new one. Little hose to make it easy to bleed, bleeder screw, all that fun stuff. So anyway, again, refer to other videos. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer that, but that's as deep as I'm going to go for this video. Now it also includes, and this was an update we did probably a year ago or so, basically these brackets to help hold the hose in place. And I'll show you in a minute where they end up on the car. But this just basically keeps that long hose, this section here, from flopping around. It supports it better and locates it exactly where you need it to be. You can see this is the NB one, and it has a little bit of a twist to it to help point it in exactly the right direction. Now, the main thing, the reason we're so excited today, is these hoses right here. So previously, we just had a straight hose that ran from the back of the head, back here, all the way up to the radiator. So it worked okay. It definitely could have been better, and everybody rightfully wanted a formed hose that was just the right shape to start off with. So that is what we've done, but we've done it 4 times. So this was more difficult than you might imagine with all the various different things. This year has that thing, that year has this thing, and all of that. But we've done it. So we have these two are the NA version. You can see we have one for the crossflow radiator where the inlet for the radiator is all the way on the side. This is the upright version where it kinks over. And same thing, but in NB format. So you can see, let's see, we'll hold these two hoses up. You can see they're the exact same on the back, but then on the front, they change a little bit. Now on the NA, for some reason, in 1994, or for the 94 model year, Mazda decided they needed this goofy setup. So this is a normal setup. This is from a 1.6. It just has a pulley there, easy peasy. On the 94 and only the 94, it has this big goofy setup, which means that we can't put a radiator hose right here because it's going to run into that. So we made this dip here for the 94 folk. Now it works fine on the other years. It does help improve fitment. There's a big charcoal canister right here, so that helps improve fitment right there. On this one, for the NB, the 01 to 05 has an AC line right here. So you don't necessarily need this on a 99, but it doesn't hurt anything, and it does work for the 99 and gets good fit on the later cars. So we'll show you that in the cars here. So let me sneak around this side. So you can see back here, the reroute is back there, and it is curved, so it fits nicely in here. Kind of hard to see in there, but barely see it, but there's our bracket. that I was showing you earlier. Here is the goofy AC setup. That means that we can't just run a hose straight there because it's going to run into this. And this has some pretty sharp edges on it. So we wanted to stay well clear of that. So we have this kink here. Now you can see this is the crossflow setup. So it goes right into the end of the radiator. For the upright setup, it's the same hose up to here. And then it kind of does that because the inlet for the radiator is more like right here. Now on the NA, so this is a 1.6. You can see we've got kind of extra clearance here, but this is where that goofy throttle wheel on 94 would be. So we've got a dip in there. The charcoal canister, but you can see we actually rolled the hose slightly to give us clearance on that. And then we include the hardware to move this relay over a little bit. Later cars have a little bit bigger relays, so it's more necessary on other cars. And then just slight kink into the radiator there. So for good fan shroud clearance, again, same thing. The upright goes over here. Now, one thing, if you have an upright radiator and you're going to stick with an upright radiator, definitely get the upright hose. Obviously, same thing with the crossflow. But on this car, so this is Ryan's car, and he has an upright radiator now, but he's planning to do a crossflow radiator in the future. So he got the crossflow hose, which is not perfect fit, but it does fit okay on an upright if you're planning to upgrade to the crossflow later on. Now we do sell the hoses separately, so you can always get the right one and then upgrade to the proper hose for your specific car in the future. Now, again, the hoses will be available separately soon. The stuff is not in stock right now, but it should be soon, probably next week. And if you don't have Flyin Miata parts, why not? You should. Also, it'll probably work with non-FM parts as long as they're in roughly the same place. The Super Miata reroute, for example, we haven't tested specifically with it, so no guarantees, but the outlet is in roughly the same place as ours, and there's definitely flexibility in the hose, so it'll probably work just fine. The IL Motorsports reroute, that one's a little goofy and weird. It'll probably still work. I'm just going to downgrade my confidence level a little bit on that. So anyway, long story short, these hoses will probably work with most other brands out there. And also, we haven't tested it, so I can't guarantee it. So all of that said, do we have any questions?
Most of it was about compatibility with non-crossflow radiators, which you kind of covered, but
Yeah. So again, I'll just touch on that briefly. Questions about compatibility with non-crossflow radiators. Yeah, with the upright here, again, you can see this is the upright version of the hose. So you can see basically we're just offsetting that to where the inlet on that radiator actually is. The crossflow is better in a lot of different ways. That said, this will work fine with an upright radiator. If your radiator decided to move the inlet 6 inches this way versus stock, well, might not work. But if it's stock or very close to stock in terms of fitment layout, then these hoses should work just fine with the standard upright. And when I say upright or downflow or basically a stock format radiator, tanks on the top and bottom. So anything else in there? Nope. Okay. Well, we got a few questions ahead of time. A lot of them are redundant with what we already talked about. Can I order just the hose separately? Yes. Will this work with X brand reroute? Probably, but I can't guarantee it. Better fitment with a 94 throttle body? Yes. Again, 94 people, rejoice. That is your fitment there. Can we get an EPDM hose in the future? Probably not. That is a more expensive thing on the production tooling end of things. Also, there are pros and cons to both, but silicone is extremely long lasting and does work very, very well. So probably not a real high likelihood on that one. Yes.
what's EPDM?
EPDM, I should have looked up the acronym. The short version is it's a form of rubber. So can we Are we expecting to ever sell a rubber version of this silicone hose? No, not very likely. Any solution for those of us that dealt with the kinks in the original coolant hose? So that's a little open-ended. Um, if they are kinks and you have a crossflow radiator, then that's probably more of an install thing. Maybe you need to trim the hose a little bit shorter, that type of deal. If you have kinks because you have an upright radiator and you're trying to make it work with the original straight hose, yeah, fair. That really didn't work very well at all. This is a solution. We did for a while, and I meant to check before we got on air, but I don't know if we have any left or not. But we did have basically just this piece of the hose effectively. So you could couple this onto the existing hose that would make your existing hose work with an upright radiator. Um, Again, I don't know if we have any in stock. If we do, they probably won't be around for very long because this is really the right answer. So, okay. Yes, more questions.
Is there any difference in flow or impediment to flow because of the different bends in this hose versus a straight hose?
So, is there any difference to the flow because of the bends in here? With the upright, probably a bit because we have to make those bends kind of sharp. With the other ones, yeah, if we're pushing our glasses all the way up and putting on our nerd hat, yeah, I bet there is. Pragmatically, no, I don't think it's going to make any difference to the flow of coolant through this system. By many decimal points down, sure, but anything's going to make an actual difference to the cooling of the car, to the functionality. No, I would not expect that. Any other questions? Okay, well there you go. Like I said, we heard you. We agree with you. This is definitely a better solution than the straight hose, and now we can finally offer it. So again, should be available next week. They're in the building. We just have to do some paperwork stuff, basically. Uh, so there you go. As always, thank you very much for stopping by. If you like this kind of thing, throw us a like. If you like these videos in general, subscribe. Helps us out, and more importantly, it gets you all the Miata content that you could ever desire. If you have ideas for videos, drop them in the comments. We're always looking for stuff. Outside of that, thank you for stopping by. We will see you next time.